Action at the front line results from the research that our members have done over the last 6 years, really, in a programme of work called Views from the Front Line. One of the key things we've discovered is the extent to which what we call everyday disasters, small-scale recurrent disasters of all kinds, are the thing that impact people most. The thing about those is that they're not documented, they're not reported, they're not publicised, and they're often not responded to at any other level, which leaves local people as the people who know about them and people who are often the first and only responders to these kinds of disasters. It's tremendously important to help communities and the civil society organisations that work with them to strengthen their capacity to do that, because they can't really rely on projects, on funding, on all those external interventions. And a lot of our members say anyway that projects become a kind of treadmill. They're very short term usually, they have specified goals, they're often unsustainable. And so with our members we've developed the Action at the Frontline programme to create a space where civil society organisations and communities can actually work together to work out what the challenges are they face and to develop ways of addressing those challenges themselves. In Cambodia, where one of our network members was working with a community at Samarkand, and that community were shown a process for organising what's called micro-insurance. There wasn't any funding involved, but they shared with them a process that had been used in other places, and they worked out how to do this, how to organise themselves, what rules to create for themselves, and they started being able to accumulate a fund and support small businesses, bits of agriculture that community members were doing. 3 years after that work finished, the programme itself was still growing as a completely sustainable programme within the community. Through developing small businesses, accumulating some capital and so on, it created a buffer for them to the storms and the droughts that would otherwise have knocked them back. In a larger scale example, another of our members over in Costa Rica recognised the problem of regular flooding from the river. We'd been in a meeting at one point where a recognised expert said community mobilisation can do a lot, but it can't build a dam. Well, that's exactly what they did over a period of, I think it was about 10 years. So the point about this is that community mobilisation is slow and steady, but it's sustainable. When you get started on this, it starts small, but these cycles of action and learning gradually grow and move communities from fragility and exposure to disasters to increased resilience based on our own capacities. Participating in Action at the Frontline provides a programme for you to work with a community on local action and learning. There's a set of guidelines and training materials which explain the process. They start with you consulting community members to develop what we call resilience profiles. These are used as a basis for community consultations, and they lead on to developing action plans. The action plans are implemented by the community and you, the civil society organisation. Learning from what you've done together is important. You can do this through recording case studies, sharing them together, sharing them with other members, and also looking at what other members have done, so that there's learning both ways. And it's important to emphasise that this process doesn't stop there. It's a cyclical process that continues through further stages of action and learning.